Hello, everybody, and welcome back to yet another cast. Guys, I'm bringing you a juicy game of TA0. This one actually includes our boy, Mr. EXE, the Russian legend, and this time he's actually playing
And
TA0.
he is commenting here, hello everybody. I'm proudly presents this game with TaShadan in the coolest mod, TA0, which is overall underrated, but I can strongly recommend this to try this in any day, because you can see the new models, the new graphics, the new explosions, everything is redone from the scratch, and my big respect for the Mr. Wochweli Lane, who does this mod alone. So, cool, man.
Yeah, so I really like this mod. I've casted a few games now, and it's just I think the ideas in the game are really neat. I like that there's a third faction. I've always wanted a third faction for TA. I've begged Wotan to make a third faction for Escalating, but either way, guys, I feel like the mod creator has done a fantastic job, not only making an entirely new faction in the Kadesh, I think that's,
Stuff.
but also remaking or redesigning the original factions to be more unique and more interesting than they are in OTA.
Yeah.
So what made you decide this game? So guys, let's introduce the players. EXE here in red, who is currently
Playing
casting with me.
Yeah. The
And
fraction I play is GOG.
yeah, the Gawk. And then in blue, we have TaShadan, who has gone armed. So what made you decide to go for the Gawk? I mean, why did you choose this faction?
It fits my game style, I think, because they are kind of unique. They have many unique units, and they have shields, the void shields, and they require a lot of micro. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
I can't explain this because it's to explain why I choose GOGs. I have to explain why I don't choose the arm and core. Well, in simply, the arm side has the advantage of huge spam, and so you expand fast. You try to put pressure onto your opponent. Well, I like this, but it's a little messy. With core, I think, at least on my opinion, you have your brute force. You do one or two strong attacks at your opponent, then you get Rex, and you repeat, and snowball and snowball and so on. With GOGs, you can just do, I think, both of these, but still, it's like some interesting gameplay there. I can't really explain uh, the deepest. You must just try it and understand on your own.
Well, you're certainly building a lot of disciples. So guys, the disciple is the Gawk main battle unit. It is their bread and butter. It's what you're going to see built the most early on. It is a melee unit. They have double swords, but they also have like a shoulder-mounted cannon. And of course, the arm has the Scorpion, but it's basically the Flash. It's the fast assault tank. It's just like the Flash in OTA or Escalating. It's got essentially double-barrel EMG weapons, so they fire very quickly. They do a lot of damage. They're fast. They have a short range, but very high DPS. Great rating unit. Great early on, especially shines in large numbers. And so, in these engagements, the blue player will have to try to avoid EXE. He wants to stay out of range of the Disciples' melee attacks because the Disciples do have a shoulder-mounted cannon, but it doesn't do that much damage. It's better to fight in melee, so we're going to have to see how EXE wants to play this. You have built an air factory, and you've got a couple of bombers, so...
I guess, yeah, it may be bombers. Yeah, it is. The TaShadan also made some anti-air planes, the fighters. But in case that I have built this faster, I have a small advantage that there are some anti-air towers on the islands,
Yeah.
and I'm expanding there. Speaking about my late gameplay, I know that with only disciples I can't win, and it's not that really expensive, but the scorpions will for sure. So I need more stronger units like laser tanks. But since I've tried to do the expansion on the islands, that's why I couldn't make the laser tanks. And the
Yeah.
only option was to make a lot of defense. You can see that I'm making towers very close to each other.
So guys, the admonishers are they're like the light laser tower of this mod, the TA0. But they are very effective. In fact, they're more like kind of a cross between a light and a heavy laser tower because they have a pretty good range. They can outrange most things on T1. They do a decent amount of damage. And because EXE decided to go into air second, he sort of he's fallen behind on the ground battle. And so now he's just got to kind of hang on. As you can see, these admonishers are doing a decent job. But on the bright side, EXE has gone into air. He is building on these islands. He's got some extractors. He's got some stargazers, the anti-air tower. So, and Blue has also gone into air, but he's mostly just building the Rebel, which is the fighter for arms. So TaShadan, this is his style. Every game I've watched him, he likes to take over the map. He likes to expand out and, sort of put his opponent into a corner or contain his opponent as much as possible. So it definitely seems to be his play style and what he's most comfortable with. So now EXE has to break out of this contain. So how are you going to break out of this? How are you going to break out of your little corner of the map?
Well, I'm trying to attack with a lot of disciples while massing some laser tanks on my main base I was speaking about before. Yeah. So I just know that TaShadan has a lot of scorpions somewhere near my base, so I can try to do a raid with disciples while he can't react.
Well, he does have a lot of auto guns here. So there's a decent amount of defenses, but if the disciples can get into melee range, they will chew through these defenses pretty quickly. But he is bringing the scorpions now. He is going to try to surround your army. But EXE will take out this this base here. So, and all the defenses, all the eco there. So that's a nice pickup. I'd say that's a fairly effective raid. But now you don't really have an army, and he's got a huge army. But one thing I've noticed in TA0 is that it's very hard to push into defenses. Like, I've noticed that these defenses make it difficult to, break your base.
Well, you need specific units. Like ARM has Ballista, the rocket launcher at tier 1, and War has the siege tanks, if I remember. So you can't just do like you always do in TA with just massing a single unit and trying to push through. No, you need some knowledge of the usage of each unit.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, it does feel like it's a very rock, paper, scissors style balance, and I like that about this mod. You definitely need the correct composition, even more so than in like something like Escalation. I mean, Escalation unit choice does matter, but in this mod, it's like I said, it's more like StarCraft in the sense of like a very triangle balance. And so in this situation, you don't want to just rush headlong into the opponent's defenses. You want some kind of artillery. There's something that can outrange the admonishers. EXE has a lot of Scourge, and the Scourge is the anti-tank, quote-unquote, hover.
Yeah, exactly.
So This is a
Here I
difficult
could target-
position to break.
And these anti-tanks deal tons of damage against such units like Scorpions. The only problem that I don't think it's pretty fast, so Scorpions can always kite. And you need still be you still need to micro your units carefully, because Scorpions can surround from different angles, and even anti-tanks can be in trouble in this position. So that's why you mix with some Disciples or any other units which provide more vision.
Yeah, you've got a lot of gunships. That looks like about a dozen Spectre gunships. So let's see if they can. I mean, they're definitely going to make the difference in the battle. And I wonder if TaShadan even has enough air defense here. It doesn't look like... Well, he does have some.
Yeah. Maybe in his main base he also has this. Yeah, he has.
Yeah, so he's got these Stingers, which are the mobile anti-air. They're kind of like the Samson. Wow, that wiped out your gunships in seconds. So he's got a lot of air defense here. Those Disciples will die, but of course the Scourge, much longer ranged, very, very powerful weapons. And now, TaShadan with his own fighter swarm, lots of rebels here. Does he have enough to take out this base? I mean, you've got quite a few Stargazers, so it doesn't look like he's going to be too successful there.
He still could try. It's decent amount.
Yeah.
Oh, another thing I would not like to notice about TS0 that the units don't get stuck on the Rex, so they bypass it.
Oh, that's really cool. I didn't know that. That's pretty interesting mechanic or design. I wish we had that in Escalation. But we were speaking before about artillery, and now TaShadan building a Mauler, which I think is the T2 arm artillery. It's kind of like a... Let's see. Yeah, it's almost like a siege weapon, like a siege tank. So, we'll have to see if those come into play. They could definitely be effective against all of your defenses that you have stationed there at the front of your base. But, I mean, I feel like your army composition is pretty effective. One thing that's interesting is that when I watch the mod creator play, he doesn't really use these Scourges that much. I see him mostly building Disciples. But this is a lot of Scourges, and they seem to be really effective.
Is it Scourge name of this tank? I guess it's Stringer.
Yeah.
Oh, Scourge, okay.
Yeah, it's a Scourge. Yeah, I don't see him, you know, I see him mostly building Disciples on T1. But these Scourges seem to be really good once you have, you know, an army of them, and Blue definitely struggling to win these engagements with you anymore. Of course, he is now on T2, so he is slowly upgrading his eco. He's got a Mauler, but I don't... Oh, I see. He's trying to siege your base from there, but you don't have anything there, so I don't think that's really going to work too well.
I agree. And sometimes I don't understand why TaShadan doesn't reclaim fast the Rex, so he ignores it most of the time. You can see that in any escalation game this will be mostly sucked in seconds, if you allow to your allies, for example. And yeah, I don't know, he could get much advantage if he tried to reclaim this.
Yeah, that's a good point. He could definitely use the extra metal from all these wrecks on the battlefield. I would like to see him take advantage of all that extra free resources that he could be using. But one thing I've noticed that you know, I feel like you're doing better than the games I've seen of Vovelian is that you're fighting for the map. You know, you're not letting him contain you. Definitely wants to keep you in a corner, but you're definitely out on the map. You're building armies to match his, and he's struggling to even fight you. Of course, now he's got some Devastators and Varjogs and Maulers in his composition, so I think you will have to probably retreat from that, but
Yeah.
ultimately I do like that you're fighting for the battlefield here and making it difficult for him to... oh, it looks like you're on T2 air as well. You're building some Radiance. So what's the plan from here? What's your plan to win?
I think it was the Mass Radiance because it's very strong T2 gunships. If you mass it, the shields of Gogs and high DPS help you to destroy any ground units in seconds.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean,
Or
you're
you can just
already
snipe
building
the
them.
commander, like always.
Oh yeah, you can snipe the commander. So looks like you've got 2 so far. Guys, the Radiants are not cheap. They take a while and they cost a lot of energy.
And yeah, while shoot, they drains a lot of energy.
Yeah.
You can see that I'm almost at 0 energy, and when I realized that, I built like 4 or 6 fusions. It was extra transformation. It's super crazy.
Yeah, you're pumping these Radiants out, but of course energy takes a while to build in this mod.
Yeah, you see my commander is trying to make the generators, but it's still not enough.
Yeah. But you're definitely in the air. The problem is, TaShadan has quite a few fighters. He's got a lot of air defense as well at his base. Now, he doesn't seem to have a lot of air defense in his army, and I think that's because he hasn't really scouted you that well. I don't think he knows that you're on T2 gunships yet. He'll find out soon, but right now all he knows is that you have this land army in the middle. Obviously you still have these bases at the bottom, but yeah, there's not like any T2 air defense in this force yet. So these Radiants, when they appear, could definitely change the game. But yeah, right now there's a lot of posturing. Both of you guys seem to be kind of feeling each other out, seeing what you can get accomplished. You got some more Spectres there. Guys, one thing that's cool about the Gok is that they the Gok gunship also is a fighter.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool hybrid. So
Yeah, well, I'm trying to do another attack on this position, destroying, but feeding TaShadan with more metal and wasting my gunships.
well, I mean, you did get most of his fighters. You took out that base again. So there was some economic damage done, but I think the most important thing you did was kill his fighters, because now, when you finally attack with your Radiance, he's not going to have much air defense left to stop you. Like I said, all he has in his army is the Stingers, the T1 air defense. And those aren't going to be as good against the Radiants, which are on T2, so I'll be interested to see how this fight plays out. Is there any possibility that you could attack his base with the Radiance, like go behind him and try to take out his base, or do you want to use those in combat?
Maybe I should. I don't remember what I did with the Radiance at first. Maybe I tried to support my land army, because you can see these tier 2 tanks. They're scary, to be honest. One of the best tier 2 arm units, the Destroyer. It has decent damage, decent armor, and speed.
Yeah,
So it's not
the Devastators
cool
are
gun.
pretty scary, because not only do they have these 2 railgun cannons on the top, but they've got little EMG autocannons on the side, so they can deal with big targets, they can deal with small targets, they can deal with anything. They're really very well-rounded armed T2 tank, but of course they're expensive and they're big. I think they're kind of clunky.
I also like how there is a track animations on
Yeah.
these tanks, and
Oh.
that it turns the base in according to the movement.
Here comes the Radiance. These T2 gunships. You've been building this this fleet for a while, and like I said, he just doesn't really have the amount of air defense in his. This really, I think, caught him off guard. He was not expecting this. He's now bringing his fighters, but you took out most of the rebels earlier on in that engagement in the middle. So very well done there, and that will clean out his main army because he just was not prepared whatsoever for that many T2 gunships. And I think if I was in his shoes, I would start panicking now because that's... I mean, he's pretty vulnerable. His base might even be vulnerable.
Oh, come on, don't be shy. I am sure you would call this a GG after this.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be like, well, it's over. He is now building the anarchists. Every time I see this name, I always read Antichrist. I don't know. That's what I read. But it's the anarchist... the RMT2, like what shall we call it? The Gatling,
the
Gatling air defense. Yeah, the Gatling anti-air. These are pretty strong against air, but
I don't like to spoiler, but after this game, there was a huge discussion about these tanks being useless.
Oh, the Antichrist?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I guess we'll see. The thing is, yeah, the thing is the Radiants have shields and a lot of health, so like you need a ton of.
But the arm weapons specifically designed to penetrate the shields with a huge amount of projectiles coming at the same time.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. They are designed for that. But I think the Radiants also have a lot of health too, don't they?
Perhaps.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how much health.
More health only with shields, but without shields, I don't know.
Well, the anarchists are doing their job. They're shooting down some of the Radiant. I wouldn't say they're useless, but you have a lot of gunships. Ooh, I also like that you have an Immortal in there. That is good. Guys, the Immortal reminds me a lot of the Immortal from StarCraft 2. Like, it's not the exact same unit, but functionally it's pretty similar. It's like massive.
Yeah, it's anti tier 2 unit.
Yeah, exactly. Anti large, and it itself is, you know, hence the name Immortal, very hard to kill. So it reminds me a lot of the Immortal from StarCraft. It's a cool unit. But one thing I really like that you're doing is that you're combining your, you know, you still got a large ground army and all the Radiants as well. So I think this is it's a nice combined arms attack and force, and it's much harder to deal with than when I've seen players in the past just try to commit to air only, which makes it easier to counter. The Gawk. But yeah,
we also like this hover stamina, which can stun the enemy's units for a while, and if you have much, it can do a decent job.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like he will break through here. Looks like he's trying to surround you, but again, these Immortals do so much damage, so much burst damage. But I think he will catch you in this corner.
Yeah.
Finish off that army. Oh, I like this Harbinger. I like this. It's like a Merle, basically.
Yeah, but it doesn't make much damage against land units. It's the anti-air hover.
I see. Yeah, it's T1, right? The T1 anti-air, however.
Yeah.
Yeah, so overall, it's still pretty even, but I think I would give you the advantage just because you still have most of your Radiants are still alive, and so having that massive gunship army, we've already seen how effective those can be. I like that the game's balance is a lot different, you know, because like in Escalation, gunships are paper, you know. I guess on T3 they're tankier, but I like that in this game the air units have a lot, you know, they can survive a lot longer sometimes.
I can't agree with this because in T0 there are some units which have such weapons which fly pretty fast,
Yeah.
and specifically it can be still well against brawlers or gunships, even not being the exact anti-air
Yeah.
units. You know what I mean? Like if you have much scorpions, it still can work against gunships because these projectiles fly super fast, and gunships here don't fly from the side to side during their attack mode fast enough to dodge the projectiles. So my vote is that still in TA and specifically in Escalation, the gunship's stronger.
Well, I still think the anarchists, I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's useless at all. It feels like they're doing a lot against your gunships like
Oh, TaShadan had these planes fighters to help.
yeah, I think I mean it seems to me that they're shooting them down really
I know.
quickly for
I
the
know.
reason
Can
that
you
you said, like they shoot down the shields. So guys,
can
the
you
way the
try?
Gawk shields are designed by the mod is that they can block big shots, like they block big attacks, but they struggle with death by 1,000 paper cuts, and that's what the anarchist is so good at doing. Like they have a massive volley. Go ahead.
Can you try check how much kills have the anarchists?
4 kills on that one.
4 kills, and the second one is
Where is
on
it?
the forward
Oh
of the
yeah,
army.
3 on that one.
Well, not bad
Yeah,
overall.
it's not bad. Can they also shoot at ground? I actually don't know if they
Yeah,
can
it
shoot.
can.
Okay.
All anti-air units, I guess, at least the land units can.
This is the
shoot.
first time I've seen Valkyries in a game, so this is really interesting to me. The Valkyries.
It's climbing, kind of climbing keyboards. Perhaps it also can pass the water, if I remember correctly. But the main feature, yeah, it can pass the high ground. Well, you know, you don't need these passes, how you call it. What I'm trying to say that you mostly can pass any ground, I guess, except if it's
Oh, the Valkyrie
restricted.
can?
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, it can just climb. It's like all terrain. It can climb any obstacle. That's really interesting. So the Valkyrie, I would assume that it's kind of lore, or its design would be that it has some kind of jump jets, right? So it can just kind of, it can fly. It's got wings basically, so it can fly over any terrain. Like you said, can it go over water? Do you know?
I think maybe.
Maybe we're not sure. Actually, let's check the description of the factory and find out what it says. Fast attack jump jet K-bot. Anyways, so we're not sure if it can go over water, but either way, that's cool that it has these jump jets that allows it to just kind of fly over obstacles, go where it wants to go. And I've never really seen these built, so it'll be interesting. You also have a Nightfall, which is like the isn't that like the
artillery.
mobile Bertha? It's kind of like a mobile artillery.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how that thing works. I'd like to, come on, EXE, get it going, get it moving.
Wait a second, let me connect to the game. I will move it for you.
Take over. Yeah, Right now it's just kind of sitting there, but I'm sure you'll...
It's waiting for more energy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we are...
Um,
But you're...
let me say, I'm trying to fool this unit, with some void stuff.
Well, you do have a lot more energy than him. You're on 930 to
And I'm
his
still
300.
stalling. It's so crazy.
Yeah, so
Still.
you've got 3 furnaces working on it. No, you've got 5 furnaces, which are the fusions of this game. And working on the 6th one. Here comes a battle in the middle. And oh, I like this use of Valkyrie. So like, I think this is how they're meant to be used. They're fast. They can get behind the enemy. I like that TaShadan's got the Liberators in here, the T2 armed gunships. But very close battle. But he also has the Falcons in there. So TaShadan, very nice composition by him. Able to clear the skies and take out most of your army, and he will come on top of that. He will come out on top of that engagement. And yeah, now it's kind of looking difficult for you. So what's your plan from here? It looks like you're building a blazing orchid.
Bertha, yeah.
The Bertha.
But if I remember, the range of this wasn't high enough, so I could not do much.
Yeah.
Here is a nice attack.
Yeah, this is
some gunships and the jammer. So I'm trying to attack the main base of TaShadan.
Yeah, nice raid, and I'm sure he will react as soon as he figures out this is happening, but it seems like you've really caught him off guard. His fighters just now flying down to stop you, and he will eventually get here. Try and... oh, if you could get that fusion, that would be so big. Oh, you will get the fusion. You will... yeah, that's some nice economic damage you got done there. So, taking out 3 mexes, taking out the fusion, taking out some solars. Ultimately, that's going to be pretty annoying for him to rebuild. His energy was already low, so now it's even lower.
I feel like after this game we also had a discussion about Falcons, because it didn't seem good enough either. It was pretty hard to micro them. So the main design was like, again, like air gunslinger, but it was just weird still.
Well, he will try and attack on this middle island, but it seems like you've got plenty of defense. You've got some wraiths now.
Yeah, tier 2 fighters.
Yeah, the tier 2 fighters, so it seems like that will be that island. Oh, what was that?
The nuke?
No, I think the blazing orchid hit one of your planes and it exploded. Oh no, he does have a nuke. He has a retaliator here, so maybe it was a nuke.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how long that's been there, but either way.
Oh, can't we check the range if it's possible?
Yeah, I could try to check the... Yeah, it hits the middle island. That's about it. So, still a pretty close game, but it's hard to say who's ahead. I kind of feel like he's a little bit ahead, just because he's got a really nice army. He's got great air control, as we saw earlier. But then again, you have all those wraiths, all the T2 fighters for the Gawk. Oh, finally we get to see that Nightfall in action. A very nice hit there. And a Pillar of Light as well. So a nice engagement happening here in the middle.
And at the same time I'm trying to attack with this jump jet.
Oh yeah, this is a nice... I think this is how Valkyries are meant to be used. It's really cool. I really like this unit. It's neat that it can just fly over obstacles. It's fast, it does decent damage. Yeah, you're really getting in there with this, but the main battle's still raging. It seems like he's coming out on top of this one, killing most of your main army. But you do have quite a few defenses, and you've also got the air still alive. So that Valkyrie attack will be cleaned up. He will be assaulting you here in the north, but yeah, man, this is still such a close game. It does look like he's getting some damage done. He has 2 nukes ready. You can see because the green lights on the Retaliator.
Yeah.
But here comes the air. Here comes all of the gunships, the fighters. He doesn't really have much air defense in his army at all anymore. All the anarchists are gone. So very nice. I think this army's going to have to get cleaned up by all the air. And with that, the game continues. It's definitely the closest TA0 game I think I've ever casted.
And I replayed. This was amazing.
Yeah. A lot of counterplay, a lot of back and forth. Very interesting to watch all the counters, all the different units being built this game that I've literally never casted. Like all the Falcons, the Valkyries have been really neat. The Blazing Orchids.
I would like to point that for some reason TaShadan did not use most of the land tier 2 units during this game. He mostly made the tier 2 anti-air, the destroyers, and tier 2 artillery, and some keyboards. But the arm arsenal has much more than that. If you can show what you can build inside the tier 2.
They've got they've got. Well, he did build
like,
Varjogs, the Maulers.
Yeah, but
infiltrators.
I think this sniper keyboards can be very decent. It has a good range, and this jump keyboards also works the same like Valkyrias.
Yeah,
so maybe
the Raptors.
He should add this to his composition. Because, well, destroyers are good, but you have to get closer to the enemy. And I just can kite with this tier 1. Even tier 1 tanks can deal with destroyers if you have enough. But these sniper keyboards I think very underrated. And I think it has more range than most tier 2 units in the game.
Man, I love these Nightfalls. Just so chunky. From such a massive range. And great in this kind of situation where you're kind of at a standoff. Oh my god, that was disgusting. Please. Please, Vivelian, nerf. Oh my god.
No. Don't nerf this.
Don't nerf.
Just ban X player mode.
Yeah. No, man, these Nightfalls are, they're no joke. Definitely doing the work there from a huge range. And like you said, I feel like his composition is just getting kited by what you have, you know, just kind of... These Devastators are powerful, but they're slow. And I feel like to really use the Devastators properly, you need to have your own siege weapons, like Maulers, backing them up so that you can actually... Because the thing the Devastators can do really well is they can push your opponent back. You know, your opponent has to keep retreating. So you need to...
my bad mic, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, nice EXE. So EXE donating some Nightfalls to the opponent. But yeah, the Devastators on their own, I think they can get kited pretty well. Ooh, and now some Magus. These are... aren't these like the T2 anti-tank, right?
It's not sure about anti-tank, but it has a good AoE damage with the special key. It releases kind of ray, and then starts destroying everything in the area. TaShadan makes a nice comment about this map.
Yeah, he's making some excuses now for why he's getting crushed. But I think your composition is just better. I mean, like he's basically got 2 units in his army, and you've got like 15 different units. And I think that has a lot to do with why you're winning. I mean, you've got the Magus, you've got the Nightfalls, you've got Disciples, you've got Valkyries, you've even got some Scourge in there, and it's just a better composition, I think.
Still struggling a little to break this.
Oh, you've even got some havens. You've even got some... Oh my god, here comes the gunships.
The god of air released the Sarducast.
Yeah. Oh my god, now he's getting crushed. You really just flew in there and choked his hopes and dreams. And man, yeah, that's most of his army, but you still got the Nightfalls intact. Did have a single Mauler, but oh man.
I think I have more the static Nightfalls, you know, somewhere on my base. I mean, near the middle cliff.
Oh, the Blazing Orchids, you mean? Yeah, these.
Look here.
Oh wow, okay, that's pretty cool.
But unfortunately, the spikes blocks the most shoots.
Yeah. Yeah, that is pretty cool though. You've got these like Berthas, but yeah, it's hitting the spire there.
Yeah, should make it on the cliff, on the hill.
Well, I'm not sure what he does now. I mean, he's got this Retaliator, but it's way out of range of everything.
Yeah.
He could build more. Like if he built a nuke up here, closer to the army, might help. He's got a lot of fighters. It's still pretty close. But, I mean, a lot of his army is just T1 and anarchists. It looks like a lot, but you've got so many Nightfalls. And the Magus.
Yeah, they do nice this... How to say it?
Oh yeah, I see they've got like an AoE
shots.
blast. That's so neat. Man, that wrecks T1. That just absolutely wrecks T1 completely. And you just, man, with all these Nightfalls now, that's scary.
And I'm still out of energy.
Yeah, it's very energy
How much?
intensive. Yeah, I do really like these Magus. Let's see what it's actually called. The Area Denial Hovercraft. Well, that explains it. Very much explains what they do. But ultimately, yeah, it's still been a very close game, and both of you guys have played really well. And oh my god, look at all the Nightfalls.
I wish to see at what point of time I tried to use the special key of the Magus, because it's really cool when you see it.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye out for it. I think I know what it looks like.
But not our viewers.
No. They don't know what it looks like, but we might get to see it. But overall, man, like, look how many Nightfalls you have. It's just pelting him from huge range, and now his army composition, I think, is just struggling against all these Nightfalls, the Magus.
Just went super mad with these old Nightfalls.
Man, and that's such a tough situation to deal with in this mod, you know, because there's not... It's not like Escalation where you could you know, there's not units like a Juggernaut or something that could just kill all this in one shot. Like, it's very hard to deal with this many Nightfalls.
I'd like to see to show our viewers the defended position, because where I have Nightfalls, there are some shields you can see, and the GAG, perhaps all fractions have two kind of shields. The huge one that can absorb more damage, obviously, and the smaller one. And you can see this animation shows where the shots gets blocked, I guess. And it's still very interesting.
Yeah, you got the Haven and the Beacon. I assume the Beacon is the other shield. I don't see any animation on those, but I see the ones on the Haven.
I think it's tier 2 anti-air tower.
Another big fight here at the top, but oh my god, look at all the... Like, I think if I was in Blue's position, this would be GG. Like, he is so far behind. All of his anti-air is dead. You've got a million Nightfalls. I mean, it starts to feel like there's no way to come back from this, because your army is so huge. And like, look at your economically, like 4 times his power, almost doubling his metal.
Oh yeah, speaking about the energy and metal, in tier 0 you don't have the metal makers.
Yeah. Wow, look at all these fusions. So yeah, you don't have metal makers, so that just means you have to... Again, that's a lot more like StarCraft kind of design, right? Like, you cannot... There's no way to convert energy into metal. You just have to use what resources are on the map, which I think is interesting. I like it. I think it's a interesting design choice. I remember hearing some Protea players complain about the lack of metal makers.
In tier 0?
No, Protea players that were trying it.
Yeah. So Proto players trying to play tier 0 and complain about metal makers?
Yeah, no metal maker. Yeah, complaining about it because it's...
I tell you why. Because they're noobs. Can't play without metal makers.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
They go sleep and dream about more metal makers on their favorite God of War's map.
Yeah, I've mentioned this in previous casts, but it was like when I was a kid playing Total Annihilation, I'd play God of War was one of the most popular maps. I don't know why. It was just a fucking disaster of a map. But you would have to build metal makers, like a lot. You know, you build titles and metal makers, and I never knew when to stop. You know, you could always build more metal makers, and
yeah.
It was, for me, it was kind of an existential problem. Like, how much money is enough? You know, I was little me was like a billionaire. Like, you know, when is enough money? When can I stop destroying the economy just to, you know, feed my...
Here, TaShadan makes another excuse that anti-air arm sucks.
Yeah. Well, anyway, yeah, it just feels like TaShadan, he's blaming your gunships, but the thing is, like, your army was just bigger than his. Like, you kept building up like your Nightfalls, so you had tons of these, and then it just felt like he would build an army, but then it would go in and die, while your army continued to grow, even though you would lose some of it. And then obviously, like, the gunships helped, but I don't think the gunships would have been good on their own.
Well, yeah, at some point it was more or less even, but then
it
just the composition of army started make point of the game. Like, he has these destroyers, anti-air, and some keyboards when I have a lot different units.
Yeah. But still a really interesting game, very close. And we got to see like almost every kind of unit for the ARM and the Gawk, and now more Radiants coming in. There's no air defense really left in this army. TaShadan saying they're Emba. I don't know. I mean, they are strong, but it's hard to say. He's taps out. So yeah, what an interesting game. Yeah, do you have any final thoughts, guys? We really like TA0. I enjoy casting it on my channel. It's very different from Escalation. Like, I almost feel like TA0 and Escalation are like polar opposites, because TA0 is like this rock paper scissors, and then Escalation is just keep building bigger and bigger shit, and then build bigger shit than your opponent.
The main point is
what?
Well, bigger and bigger shit.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Not the quality units, etc. Just the bigger shit.
Yeah, just build bigger and bigger
We
shit.
still don't enjoy this shit, but it's shit. It's our shit. That's
right. Yeah, I like this style too. I mean, I like Escalation. I love that, but I do like this, rock paper scissors design too. So yeah, what are your thoughts? Your final thoughts?
TA0 forever.
TA0 forever. Okay. Thank you everyone for watching, and we will catch you in the next cast.
See you.